Yo, 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 it's your boy Casarel with the Silent A podcast. And man, we're back with another one. And a quick one at that. Hit that like, comment below, and subscribe if you got the time. We really appreciate that love. And for this, let's get straight into it. The reality of Usyk versus Joseph Parker. If you've been watching this for a little bit, we've done these little one-off series, right? The reality of certain fights. We get down to this, the probability of the fight, and then how the fight will look if it goes down, if it can even get to that point. For this segment here, we got the reality of Usyk versus Joseph Parker. And yes, it's only been a few, short time since the Usyk victory over the likes of Daniel Dynamite Dubois. Check out our other videos breaking that down. What went wrong for the likes of the young man, the young warrior, Daniel Dynamite Dubois, as he got stopped by Usyk. But for this, we're talking about the real reality of the Usyk Joseph Parker scrap, which in our opinion should be the main fight next. That should be on the docket. But that is our opinion, right? And I think there's a lot of opinion of fans out there. I think a lot of fans want the likes of Joseph Parker. He's deserved the scrap. He's been patient. He has been a gentleman. In my opinion, too nice about the situation that he's been in. He should be a little bit more vocal. And I think it's that situation, unfortunately, where the business of boxing and the promoters out there are taking advantage of the nice guy. So let's get into the reality of this fight even going down and it happening. I want to be honest. Seeing everything I've been seeing, and we're going to get into my real issue, and it's about energy. But it's 50-50 in my opinion. If it goes to Joseph Parker's way, it's truly 50-50. And to be honest, if I had to lean one way, it's starting to lean out of the favor of Joseph Parker. Why? Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. It's energy. Energy in the likes of Usyk. Walk with me. Usyk just got done fighting the likes of Daniel Dynamite Dubois, right? And you heard him in his post, fight, immediate post-fight interview. And he just says he wants to take his time. He wants to rest, and he wants to enjoy time with his family, and he doesn't know who he wants to fight. And that's perfectly fine. That's okay. But then they start asking about names. He started naming names. Well, maybe this person, maybe that person. He throws out Tyson Fury, Anthony A.J. Joshua. He throws out a lot of these different names, a lot of UK fighters. And then finally names Joseph Parker pretty much last. Now, I get it. You're in the UK fighting, so obviously, you're playing on the crowd that's around in there. But for you to mention Joseph Parker last, that's pretty nasty work in my opinion. But I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to say that you're playing with the crowd. But let's get into the real crux of the issue, the energy issue. Joseph Parker actually did slightly one of the things I recommended him to do, and that's walk himself down to that ring immediately after the fight was done and call out the man he needed to call out. Now, he's a gentleman. He's respectful. He didn't do it while the telecast was front and center on these guys during their post interview right in the ring. He got in there right after Usyk finished, politely called him out to the side and says, it should be me next. Here's my problem. It's the energy that Usyk gave back when Joseph Parker challenged him in the ring respectfully, a true gentleman, true warrior. Usyk's energy back to him was, man, I don't know. Paraphrasing. He really said, I don't know. I want to rest, do a thing. I don't know what my next fight is at the end of the day. I just don't know. I want to rest, take time. And, Joseph Parker respectfully patted him on his chest and said, I got you. You want to take your rest, take your rest. That's a true gentleman and true warrior. But why do I have the energy issue? When Daniel Dynamite Dubois stepped in the ring, immediately, same situation, immediately after the Tyson Fury fight, Usyk had just won a war at that, tired at that. Usyk's energy was a lot different. He looked at Turki Al-Sheikh and told him to set the fight up immediately. If you need to rewind, go back and watch the interview in the ring. In fact, Daniel Dynamite Dubois did even worse than what Joseph Parker did. He walked in while they were still in the midst of celebrating. and didn't call him out in front of the crowd. Joseph Parker, a true gentleman he is, called him out to the side and talked to Usyk. And it was caught on camera, but he still talked to this man offside, not in front of everybody. It wasn't televised as big as it could have been. And it's the energy issue. The energy that Usyk gave Dubois was immediately like, oh, yeah, set it up, fight this man, sign, seal, deliver. And now we go. Even when Dubois had a fight already signed with Joseph Parker, fast forward, he gets sick before the Parker fight, pulls out 48 hours out, messes this man over from his championship title fight, finds himself in a big money fight, July 19, 2025. Now we've got Joseph Parker calling out Usyk in a respectful manner off to the side, and the energy coming back is I don't know. And what makes me even more a little bit irritated about the I don't know is because it's probably really a truer feeling, because it's off to the side. There's no bravado, there's no cameras, because you could have argued that Usyk did a lot of that with the Dubois because the camera's on him, everybody's listening in, and it was called out right immediately, and he could have been lying then, but he didn't lie. He's a true warrior, true fighter. He said what he had to say and said set the fight up immediately for Dubois. But when Joseph Parker calls him off to the side, he tells him, I don't know. The energy isn't the same. The energy isn't the same for when Parker calls you out and Dubois called you out, and Parker's just as deserving. And even more now, fast forward where we're at July 2025, he's even more deserving after getting messed out of his opportunity for a heavyweight championship fight in February 22nd, 2025. And you know that. And then you name everybody, even a Jit Kabayel, over Parker. That's why I'm 50-50 on this fight. That's why it's starting to lean in the favor. It's going to go somewhere else. And it's not Parker's fault. It's the business of boxing, man. It's nasty work. And I think the business behind the scene is pushing Usyk to go elsewhere. I really think the likes of the promoters and behind the scenes really want that Tyson Fury the third time again next year. I think that's the leading candidate for them. For whatever reason, we don't want to see it again. The fans don't. But for that reason, the business of boxing does. And even more disrespectful, they call out Ajit Kabayel. Salute to that man. Salute to that warrior. He is a hell of a fighter. I love me some Ajit Kabayel, but right now he should be next in line after Parker. And the fact that we got polls on Reed Magazine saying it should be Ajit Kabayel and no mention of Parker is getting disrespectful and crazy. So the reality of this fight is still 50-50, leaning in favor of it not going to Parker, and that is nasty work. And my challenge here today for reality of this fight to happen is us, the fight fans, us, the fans of Parker, us, the fans of just fighting and true gentlemanship in the sport of boxing, need to push for Parker to get his scrap next. That's the only way the reality of this fight even happens. And real quick, if the fight does get signed, sealed, delivered with Joseph Parker and Usyk, it'll be a hell of a war. It'll be 50-50. I don't know who would really win that fight, but we need to see that fight for true men, some of the best men in boxing, both by character and dedication to the sport. We need to see this happen. Yeah, Usyk could probably still beat Joseph Parker and vice versa, but we need to see this happen, and it needs to happen for men who respect the sport. I think Usyk respects the sport. I think his answers back to Parker were genuine because he knows where the business is trying to push him, and he's trying to be respectful to Parker. That is our opinion. That is our breakdown. The energy behind the situation is real, and the reality of the Parker-Usyk fight is slowly slipping from our grasp. And this is our time. This is our challenge. Here from the Silent Eight Podcast, our challenge is let's push for this fight to happen. Let's get behind it, and let's start generating the buzz, the concern, the push, and get the casuals even behind it to push for this fight for Joseph Parker, because we know how good that fight will be, how right it is for the heavyweight division. And it lets us know that the good men of boxing can win and can get their shots. That's our opinion. That's our breakdown, man. It's your boy Cash Robertson, Silent Eight Podcast. Hit that like, comment below, and as always, subscribe if you got the time, and we really appreciate that love. Until the next time. Peace.